In this masterfully crafted and performed talk about the power of playing a role, speaker Salon alum Carol Lempert not only shares her personal story of helping others by teaching them acting, but also how she stepped into a more confident version of herself because she's playing a part.
It's 1999, and I am in suburban Michigan visiting my family after the run of a show. I'm an actress. My father and my brother are both contractors, so anytime I'm back home, guaranteed, at some point, there is going to be a trip to Home Depot. So here we are. You know how Home Depot is set up with a bunch of short aisles and one long aisle that runs across the entire length of the store? So my brother and I are standing at the corner of heating and cooling, and I notice out of the corner of my eye a well-dressed woman from way far across the store. There's a bunch of people between me and her, and some of those people happen to be wearing orange aprons with white letters stitched on them that spell out H-O-M-E-D-E. Perhaps you see where I'm going with this. She whizzes right by them in her Piccolino shoes, practically causing a hit and run in the middle of the store with her cart, and I realize she is headed straight for my brother. When she gets to us, she says, "Excuse me, do you know if I need sanded or unsanded grout for these tiles?" And my brother says, "Ma'am, I am happy to help you, but I don't work here." And she goes, "Oh, well, you just look like you know what you're doing." Shakespeare was right. All the world is a stage, and today the performance just happens to be taking place right in the middle of a Home Depot. Afterward, I go, "Well, that was random." And he goes, "Yeah, that happens." And I'm like, "What is up with that?" And he's like, "I don't know, sis, but whenever it happens, I've been walking around the store wondering what would Dad do if he was working on this friggin' job that I got myself into." And this stops me in my tracks because I had been walking around the world wondering what Izzy, the character in the play that I just played, be thinking. You walk around thinking that you play being Dad? And he goes, "Yeah, guess I do." Huh. Shortly after that, two things happen. The first is that I get hired to run a program for disadvantaged youth. Among the students are Steffi, a high school dropout with an attendance problem, and Jake, a cop-hating young offender who's just been released from prison. Our mission? Get them job ready. Jake, yeah, let's not threaten to hit anybody in the face once you're on the job, okay? The second thing that happens is that I hear about a program that has recently been launched in Kentucky called Shakespeare Behind Bars. Their vision is to help inmates return to their communities as contributing members of society. They learn how to ask for forgiveness by playing Prospero in The Tempest, or how to better deal with murderous, jealous rage by playing Othello. This is truly an extraordinary program that continues to this day. Last year, the return rate for ex-cons going back to prison was about 75%. For graduates of the Shakespeare Behind Bars program, it's 6. So, with a scene in Home Depot and Shakespeare Behind Bars in mind, I decide to help my students get better at job interviews by running an acting class. There is a scene in a play called Top Girls where a woman actually goes on a job interview. I cast Steffi as the HR director. There is a beautiful moment in a musical called Working, where a cop confesses to how difficult it is to arrest young men for a living. I cast Jake. The neuroscientist Joseph Ledoux has written that our most basic sense of self, of who we think we are, is a product of the way the synapses in our brain are wired. And the way they are wired is a direct result of learning. Learning of all kinds, of our life experiences, of the words said to us, of the words we speak to others. So when Steffi learns her lines as the HR director, words she has never said before, she learns to speak in new ways. She also learns what it's like to evaluate a job candidate, the very thing she herself is going to be in a few weeks' time. She learns perspective and empathy. The synapses in her brain are rewired. And they're rewired with what I call a new performance choice. Just like actors on the stage, we are all living in plays of our own making, as well as in the plays of other people. And every day we make decisions about how we want to show up in the world. Do we threaten to hit somebody in the face when we're angry? Or do we make a new choice in that scene where we have convinced ourselves that we have been disrespected by a cop? Jake has a big aha during rehearsals. He learns how his energy impacts the energy of the other students in the scene, and that if he makes a new choice, unclenching his fists, softening his face, he'll have a better outcome. It works. After 12 weeks, we increase our performance rate and job placement rate 37%. Before this moment, it never really occurred to me how my own acting career could help me make better performance choices in my own life. I had made a series of choices that had made my life rather small. I've got a scar right here. I've been told that I almost lost an eye due to a vicious dog bite when I'm 3 years old. Despite not remembering it, I become the kid on the street that is terrified of dogs. And my fear turns to panic when I'm 10 years old, and my uncle, who is a Holocaust survivor, tells me about the pack of Doberman pincers that surrounded his barracks at Auschwitz. Nobody can figure out why I stopped going to my best friend Susie's house. There's a big black Doberman that lives next door. There's a rather dramatic scene in my 20s when I break up with a guy who I actually really liked, when I learn that he owns a Labrador Retriever. My life is dictated by where I will and where I won't go based on if I might see, hear, smell, or talk about a dog. I realize that if my student Jake can learn to resist the impulse to hit somebody in the face, I should be able to pass a dog on the street without breaking into a cold sweat. I decide to research and write a solo show about the Oscar-winning screenwriter, fabulous wit, and legendary dog lover, Dorothy Parker. I am proud to report that I have rewired my brain. Last summer, I spent a week with my good friend Ken and Lori. They own 2 big dogs, Ginger and Pinot. Ginger thinks I'm kind of cool. Today, in addition to my acting career, I help people make better performance choices in high stakes, or what I call spotlight moments. Moments like leading a team through a merger and acquisition, or being the only woman in a room full of men at work, or standing on a stage like this one and giving a presentation to your boss or your boss's boss. My advice always is take an acting class, study improv, do a play. Not long ago, I was invited in to work with a group of floor managers at an organization called Home Depot. Our mission: increase executive presence. I teach them skills that actors use to have great stage presence, to look like they know what they're doing. I assign them scenes from a play called Life with Father. I figure, worked for my brother. It'll work for them too.
If you are interested in taking a big stage with me in New York City and attending the Speaker Salon, go to speakersalonapplication.com. And I would love to hear your biggest takeaways from Carol's incredible talk. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you get access to my latest videos. I am so happy that you are here and will always respond to the comments. Big love.